Congressman Peter Defazio, who so ably represents which district is it? 5th District? I'm always mixing this up, Congressman. 4th District of Oregon. There we go. The 4th District of Oregon and defazio.house.gov. You have been ripping it up on the floor of the House, sir. We got a bunch of quotes from your speech yesterday, I guess it was, that I'm going to be playing as we go through the program today. First of all, welcome back to our program.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate the opportunity, as always.
If you would like to just share with our listeners and viewers your thoughts on Fox making fun of these people.
Yeah, I was inspired by Fox News. Sad to say, but I was watching a couple of mornings ago in that little morning group, whatever they call
Fox and
Friends.
Yeah.
They were ridiculing the protesters. One, not totally focused on one issue, not led from the top down, like Dick Armey has led, good parts of the Tea Party with the Koch money. And secondly, they said, "Oh, I wonder if they get time off from work to do this." And then they said, "Well, they don't have jobs." And I said, "That's exactly the point.
Yep.
These young people don't have and can't get jobs because their future has been stolen from them by the speculators and gamblers on Wall Street, and the wealth has been upstreamed to a precious few for no good end for this society."
I wonder, the nickel dropped, the penny dropped, or whatever the old cliche is for you when they said that. I wonder how many Americans, average working Americans, who are in fear of losing their jobs or having health care problems, with their insurance companies or whatever, all over America, who watch Fox and think of it as a news source. How many of them were watching and thought in that moment, here are 3 millionaires on television laughing about the fact that people without a job are out protesting. I'm guessing the number is really, really small of Fox viewers who thought that, even though that's what was going on. And I'm curious, what you think, what you think about the percentage, and why you think, how have they bamboozled us?
Boy, it's repetition, it's distortion. I described it as narrative and political jujitsu. I mean, here you have Wall Street, through unbelievably reckless gambling, deregulation, and to be totally fair, that deregulation started with Bill Clinton and Robert Rubin taking away Glass-Steagall and prohibiting, Brooksley Born from regulating derivatives, and was amplified by the Bush administration 10 times over in terms of total radical deregulation and lackadaisical enforcement of laws by appointing idiots like Chris Cox to head the SEC, who was out playing golf while Wall Street was melting down, and Timmy Geithner over at the Federal Reserve aiding and abetting these activities and then bailing them out, when AIG went down 100 cents on the dollar for their reckless bets. So, it's pretty darn clear that they had to change the narrative. So now it was too much regulation, and it was big government that caused the problem. And the Republicans keep repeating it, and unfortunately, it's a really complicated, confusing, and huge problem. People are scared, and some are believing that.
It's astounding to me how much, I get a lot of hate mail, as you can imagine, and how much of it actually has a singular focus these days around this, which is, don't you guys get it? Barney Frank did this, with Jimmy Carter and Bill Clinton's suggestion that the banks forcing the banks to loan money to poor people who couldn't afford to buy houses. I mean, that's the meme, and there's no truth to that.
Right, and let's see, it was, when you think, yes, there was mortgage fraud because of deregulation of, starting back with savings and loans, where we, didn't have prudential, underwriting for these, what many brokers did through these, or Countrywide and others ultimately did. But if you look at the total value of that part of the problem, it's a tiny fraction of what happened, because Wall Street said there isn't enough bad debt to go around. We're making a pile of money on this bad debt. We know it's going to go rotten. We're betting against it to make money. We're selling it to our clients, and there isn't enough to go around. So they created virtual bad debt.
Right.
So they multiplied the problem by 10 to 100 times. You would have $1 billion of bad debt, and they'd turn it into $100 billion of bad assets.
Yeah, it is insane. So what, Congressman Peter Defazio, what are you and your colleagues in the Progressive Caucus and the Democratic Party, or maybe you've got some Republicans on board, I don't know, but what are y'all proposing to do about this?
Well, Senator Harkin and I are revamping the proposal we've introduced previously for a speculator tax on Wall Street. Remember, on a daily basis, sometimes as much as 70% of the volume is computer-driven, high-frequency trading. It has nothing to do with long-term investment. In fact, some phenomenal percentage of the market turns over within 3 days. So we're proposing a very, very small transaction tax. This
is what Germany and France just voted to do.
Hmm?
This is what Germany and France just voted to do this week, right?
Right. We're, I've met with European parliamentarians a couple of years ago, and we talked about them moving ahead on this issue. And we're going to propose ours next week. From reading the Susskind book, we understand that actually the president is very interested in the idea. It's just that he got submarined by Larry Summers and Geithner. So we're hoping to influence his direction to Mr. Geithner when Mr. Geithner goes to carry Wall Street's water in Europe and oppose their version of a speculator transaction tax. Because this is, if Europe's doing it and we're doing it, and England has already done it at a much higher rate than we're proposing, and I haven't noticed the bankers fleeing Fleet Street like rats in London. They're all buying, condos that cost more than in New York and London.
Yeah.
I don't think they're all going to move to Dubai to avoid the transaction tax.
I'm with you.